ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनुपस्थं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयम् उपकरमयं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णभक्तिभूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमः। Namaste Saraswati Deve Govani Pachayane Nivishesha Shunyvari Pasatara Satarina Vanshakapa Jivasha Kripa Sinvevacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Go Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to come and visit you here and spend some little time in your company and share some thoughts and realizations. I had no clue what to expect when I drove out here, and I'm surprised how many bright-faced and eager and enthusiastic devotees you have here. So this is amazing, yes. Yes, so I was requested to speak about deepening our relationship with the Holy Name, right? Even though I have to admit, I have so many other nice topics too, but this was the choice I was given. And I mean, I of course understand chanting is just such a relevant topic for everyone and all. And yes, I do conduct Holy Name retreats also. My favorite one is the one in Ekachakradam, which I conduct every year over Christmas, 21st to 25th of December. This is such a nice event, so I would be so honored to receive some of you there. Very sweet experience, especially if you switch off your mobile phone during those 3 days. You can actually enter a different reality. Yeah, quite powerful. Okay, so what is the timeline? Because I can talk for hours, so you better tell me when to finish. 1 hour? Good. 8 o'clock? That's including question and answer? Okay. All right, good. Yes, so let us remember, chanting is the foremost way how we connect, how we re-establish this lost and forgotten relationship with Krishna, right? Yes. And Krishna, by his mercy, unlimited mercy, he extends himself into the material world by giving us his holy name. And we have heard this all many times, that Krishna and his holy name are non-different, right? But to actually realize that is not so easy. But it basically means that by chanting, we can get the same benefit as meeting Krishna face to face. So that is quite amazing, you know? Somehow there is some fumes in the air. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so I'll better tolerate. Yeah, no, because my voice is so fragile and these fumes easily affect my voice. But I hope I will last for 1 hour. Okay, yeah, so yes, by chanting, we can get the same benefit as associating with Krishna personally. But of course, it depends how we receive Krishna when we chant the holy name. We can imagine we invite our spiritual master to visit our home, and then when he comes, we turn our back to him, we ignore him. We have something more important and interesting to do. So we could not even call this associating, right? Yes. And obviously we would not get much benefit from such kind of reception. And in fact, we may even get some reactions for, receiving him in an inappropriate, inattentive, disrespectful way. So a similar thing is there when we chant. That when we chant, we actually call upon Krishna to be present. But then very easily, we don't receive him properly. Yes. We are inattentive. And as we may know, this inattentiveness is like the root cause for all the other 10 offenses. Right? I'm sure you have heard this. So now let us also remember that any activity which we are doing very regularly, daily, very easily we become over-familiar. We lose respect. We perform this activity in a mechanical way. It just becomes some mechanical routine business, right? It actually can happen easily with any activity we do very regularly. Like even doing puja, if we do every morning puja on the altar or to our personal deities. So this also can become a mechanical thing, that we just go through the motions and we're forgetting what we actually do, that we serve the Lord, that we dress him personally, and. Yes, so, and also the chanting japa especially can become a dry, mechanical, routine thing, and our pleasure comes from, oh, I finished my rounds. Thank God, I finished. That the joy is coming from that, rather than from actually chanting the holy name. Right? So with that attitude, we cannot really receive the benefit, the power the holy name carries. Yes, so this inattentiveness in chanting takes place on 3 levels. On the level of the body, on the level of the mind, and what is the 3rd level? Heart, yes, she got it. Usually people say soul, and when I say no, then they say intelligence. No, because no, we can't understand the holy name or enter the holy name on the level of intelligence, So it's body, mind, and heart. And actually, no matter what services we do, we have to be attentive on these 3 levels. with any service, but especially also with chanting. So let us very quickly understand inattentiveness on the level of the body. So it basically means chanting while doing something else. There are so many different varieties. The list is long. A very popular one, I have to demonstrate this to you. Very popular one is that we use the mobile phone while we have the hand in the bead bag. And we may even say, oh, this must be Mahaprabhu's amazing arrangement for Kali Yuga, that we have this finger here and we can scroll and send some quick message and. Yes, I see it all the time. Now guess what? I live without a mobile phone. I don't have one. Yes, I travel the whole world without a phone. It's possible. Prabhupada did it too, right? Of course, I have a laptop and I spend a lot of time communicating, but I keep that in my room. I don't carry that with me all the time. So these phones are actually the main root cause of distractions, you know. Sometimes people ask me, how do you get anything done without a phone? And you know what I ask them? How do you get anything done with a phone? I wouldn't get anything done if I had a phone, you know. My days are so busy, you know, writing books, working out where to send them, schedule this, that, answering emails. I wouldn't get anything done if I had a phone. Yes. And there's so much prajalpa, so much criticism and fault-finding happening over the phone, social medias. I keep away from all of this. And it's a good life. Yes, yes, I can highly recommend it. People get so attached to their phones, you know, yes, so attached. Anyway, so then also a very common other form of inattentive chanting is two people meet, both have the hand in the bead bag, and they talk, right? And we say one thing, and then when the other person answers, oh, we can squeeze a few mantras in there. You know, if the answer is long, oh, then we can get rid of quite a few mantras. But if it's short, oh, well, only one Maha mantra, you know, and like that it goes back and forwards, back and forwards. No. Or what else? Well, sometimes people sit in a lecture and at the same time they chant. You know, this mood is maximizing our time. We want to be in the lecture, we don't want to miss it, but I have these rounds left. You know, so all right, let me sit right in the back and I can still hear something. And at the same time I chant, you know. Yes. Or same as with kirtan. Let's imagine some great famous sadhu comes and leads amazing kirtan. Oh, we don't want to miss it, but we still got the rounds left. So yeah, we sit in the back and we hear the kirtan and we get rid of these rounds. Yes. Yeah, so that's the mood. Maximizing our time. You know, trying to squeeze them in somehow while doing something else. Or the other mood can be that we want to pass this boring japa time in a more pleasing and entertaining way, right? By going for a nice walk and looking at the birds and the bees and are so beautiful, and at the same time we chant. Or we look at all kinds of pictures, the today's darshan in Mayapur, Vrindavan, New York, this, that, oh, let's have a look what's happening there. And yeah, well, I'm only looking at pictures of deities, so what's wrong with that? But if it is done in this mood of just distracting ourselves and passing the boring japa time in a more pleasing way, then this is inattentiveness. Yes. Actually, let me ask, who of you is chanting on the counter, on the clicker? Do we have anybody chanting on clickers? Be honest. Raise your hand. Oh, yes, that's another form of inattentive chanting. Good that you remind me. Yes, chanting while driving, and it can be dangerous with a bead bag. We get caught there in the gearing stick or what, so that's why we better take the clicker, right? Yes, I mean, actually, I know one personality, one initiating sannyasi guru, I won't mention his name. He says chanting on counter is demoniac. Okay, yes, because it is actually the safest way to cultivate inattentive chanting. Yeah, it's actually nonsense. We don't even have to finish one round. We can just click here a bit and click there a bit. With the left hand, with the right hand, it's all plastic, stainless steel, no problem. With the dirty hand, So, and then in the evenings, we get the calculator out, divided by 108. Oh, I've chanted so many rounds, And I met one devotee who told me that he realized after many years of using his counter that at a certain spot, the counter jumps 500, 600, 700 numbers forward. So he was chanting less for so many years and didn't even know, So all these amazing surprises you can have, Yeah, no, I mean, I really strongly fear these counters should not be sold in our temple shops, Yes, why even offering these things, I mean, just to give you an example, since we talk about counters, I was once in Ukraine, and there I have to speak with sentence-by-sentence translation because not many people speak English. So, and while I was speaking, I heard this clicking noise. And I was wondering, looking around, where is this coming from? And then I saw my translator. While I was speaking, he was chanting on the counter. That was his japa time. Oh my God. Yes. Now, I mean, when we can't chant on beads, it's the wrong time to chant. Yes, it's the wrong time to chant. So anyway, there's so many more variations, right? Also reading, even if it's reading Bhagavatam, I mean, we can't do both. Either we read or we chant. So maybe if we are Lord Brahma and we have 4 heads, then it's maybe possible, one for reading, one for chanting. But yeah, sorry, we have only one. So we have to stick to one thing, Yeah. Yeah, so let's move on to the inattentiveness on the level of the mind. So it basically means using our japa time for plan making, as a plan making session, shopping list, or next preaching program, or our yatra to Mayapur very soon coming up. So many plans. The mind loves to make plans. suggestions, yes. And sometimes people say, whenever I chant, I get the best ideas. So they must be coming straight from Goloka Vrindavan, right? But no, sorry, inattentive chanting, yes. Also, sometimes, when we chant, there's all these topics and issues going around in our head, and some monologues, dialogues in circles, and we can't drop them, It's actually a sure sign that the false ego tortures us. Yes. False ego uses the mind and intelligence as tools to get the gratification it wants to enjoy. So very often behind the uncontrolled mind is actually the false ego hiding. And the false ego uses the mind as a tool, So whenever things go in circles, always a sure sign it's the false ego taking us for a ride, Good to know, yeah. So now let us have a look at the level of the heart, which is the most crucial one, because our chanting is meant to transform the heart. But for the chanting to transform the heart has to be involved, right? And as I mentioned, this is not only there in chanting, it is even in hearing also. So when we hear, we have to be attentive on these three levels, right? On the level of the body, if we play around on our phone there, inattentive hearing, Or mind, we make all plans. Oh, when is this finally finishing? I'm hungry. I want prasadam. Oh, this, that, And heart, if the heart is not involved, if we are not eager, trying to capture something, when there's this indifference in our heart, the words will go in one ear, out the other ear, bypassing the heart, will not have an effect on the heart. So in all our services, we have to be attentive on all these three levels, also endeavoring, like we know Satadam Kirtayantumam, Yatanta Sadvita Vrata, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. So that really describes our mood we have to have in service, that we endeavor with great determination. That's what it means, that the heart is involved, right? So also in chanting, we have to endeavor. If we don't endeavor to get on deeper levels of chanting, very easily it can happen that we lose taste, or we don't even get any taste. And we may even come to the point where we give up to chanting. I know quite a few devotees who are second initiated, and they stop chanting 16 rounds because they feel, well, I've done all this, somehow this chanting doesn't do anything for me, and my service is more important anyway, and nobody will notice how much I chant, and then gradually you stop chanting. So this happens when we don't make ongoingly some endeavor. That's why I like to conduct these holy name retreats, because we should regularly take some time out and really, make the holy name our main and foremost focus. Anything else can wait. Nothing is more important than the holy name. At least a few times, or at least once a year, we should take this time out over several days, go in seclusion, and really focus on the holy name and nothing else, leaving everything else behind. Very powerful. It polishes up our chanting habits. And then gradually, we get some deeper insights, Yes. So now let's go back to the heart. Prabhupada gave us a nice analogy, how we are meant to chant. I'm sure we have heard it before. Let me ask you, what am I trying to get at here? What did Prabhupada say? How should we chant? Like a child crying for his mother in desperation, in helplessness. Right? That's how we are meant to chant. But are we chanting like this? No, we are not. We are not. Why not? Any suggestions why we are not chanting in helplessness? Indifference. Yes. Huh? Exactly. We have quite a good level of material satisfaction, right? And then we feel, well, my life is going fine, I've got it all under control. Yes, I have nice family, job, bank balance, car, house, everything is going well. So how can we feel hopeless? Anybody of you has ever been in Australia by any chance? Nobody? Because in Australia, every second sentence people say is, "No worries, mate." Right, you understand? No worries, mate, friend. No worries, my friend. So if we have this no worries, mate attitude, how can we feel helpless? It's all no worries. It's all fine, Yes. There is one purport in the Bhagavatam, 1:826, Queen Kunti, where Prabhupada says, a helpless man or person can feelingly utter the holy name. But a person who is situated in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. Ooh, yes. Just see how dangerous material satisfaction can be. Yes, even though we are all striving for that and endeavoring for that, But yeah, it can become almost like an obstacle. That's what Prabhupada says further down in the purport, that the 4 principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and bodily beauty, they're, so to speak, disqualifications for making progress in spiritual life. Of course, all these things can also be used in Krishna service, but because they very easily lead to pride. That's the problem. As soon as we have some little opulence, we think, oh, look at me, I'm so wealthy, so highly educated, PhD professor, this, that, and then we get intoxicated by this. We become proud. And then no room for helplessness. Yeah, that's why these places with very low level of material satisfaction, they are pretty good places to make advancement. Yeah, Bangladesh, not so much material satisfaction there. Ukraine now in the war, my God, Yes, I haven't been there since pandemic. I used to be there very involved actually. But devotees have shared with me how this war has really helped them to take shelter. Because when the bombs are raining from the sky, you've got no other shelter, except crying out. You know, yes, yes, yes. And they're really like heroes there. They go out on book distribution and Food for Life and Sunday program, everything is happening, you know. Like last year I met one family I know from Kiev, from Ukraine, and they visited Mayapur, and I thought they wanted to stay in Mayapur to escape the war. And they said, no, Mataji, we are going back. We have our Namata programs and. You know, so I thought, oh my God, yes, all glories, you know. Yes. Yeah, so that's why Queen Kunti prays for calamities, you know, because then we can call out more feelingly, you know. Yes. So now, interestingly, a child crying in helplessness for his mother does not have the problem of a wandering mind, right? No, child doesn't have that problem. Child doesn't say, this is strange. Every time I cry for my mother, I'm thinking of so many other things, with whom to play and what to play and where to play. No, child does not have that problem, because in the child's mind, there is no room for any other thought except, where is my mother? I need her right now. So that gives already our answer to the distracted mind. What is the solution? To involve the heart. Yeah. We have to try and scratch some sincere feelings of helplessness together and call out, cry out. So sometimes people say, well, but what if I can't cry out? Well, then we can cry about that we can't cry. But somehow we have to start crying out. And of course, we are not talking about some, external crying performance here. No, this crying is deep in the heart. Yes. Because sometimes people want to show how advanced they are, that they're crying so much and all that. So we don't want to go that way, It's deep in the heart, yes. Yeah, so and also we may have heard of our previous great soul, His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj. He used to say an ISKCON temple is a crying school where we learn to cry out to Krishna. Yes. So you're meeting here regularly, is that your crying school? I heard you're also trying to get some land and build a crying school. So yeah, I mean, all these endeavors are very nice, but they're only useful if we also use them to learn how to cry out, right? We can almost say this helplessness, this crying out, is actually the very essence of Krishna consciousness. Even when we open our Vaishnav songbook, we can see that most Vaishnav songs are in that mood of crying out, Kabe habe bolo, or Gurudev Kripa Bindu dear, Gurudev, give to the servant just one drop of mercy. And the last line is, if you're not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life any longer. So how much more helpless can we be? Yes. So that's actually what we are meant to cultivate, this crying out. Yes. Yes. So yeah, the solution to the wandering mind is to cry out, to involve the heart. That's the solution. Sometimes we hear these questions, what to do when the mind drags us away and wanders, and then the standard answer is pull it back in here. Yeah, that's a good start, but it's not everything. pull it back in here, and involve the heart. Cry out. The crying is the main thing. Otherwise, if we leave it only by pulling back the mind and hearing, we easily end up in a boxing match with the mind. You know? That the mind carries us away again, and we pull it back in here, and it carries us away, pull it back in here. So yeah, we're not going to get anywhere like this. So we have to bring the holy name to the level of the heart. Yeah, that's the solution, you know. And if we try that, we will see some days it is easier, some days it's more difficult. Especially when too many issues are in our head, in our mind, you know, then difficult. And I guess that's why Prabhupada gave us this formula of simple living. Actually, yesterday we were talking in one program about chanting, and one pretty new devotee, he was saying, actually, living in the village, so much easier to chant. And I thought, wow, yes, you got it right. You know? Because this city life, it's so busy, so fast, so many distractions and noises, and oh my God, you know. But yeah, peaceful village life, ooh, so much easier, you know, yes. Yeah, but that's real opulence, actually, to live in the village. And that's why Prabhupada also recommended us these rural communities to establish farm communities, you know. Yes. As Kali Yuga progresses, this will become more and more important for us to disentangle ourselves and extricate ourselves from this crazy city life and, you know, have our little Krishna conscious, you know, oasis, you know, there. There is one more thing which I would like to little bit touch upon, because we were saying that chanting is meant to develop the relationship with Krishna. So the first step in developing any relationship is that we are mindful of that person's presence, right? Even, let's say, in the brahmachari ashram, you know, you can have very impersonal relationships, just living past each other, if you're not mindful that, hey, there is a person here, and that person also has needs and desires and wants to, you know, have some exchanges, and also family life, married life, you know, can all be very impersonal if we don't start at that point that we understand there is a person there next to me, right? So same thing is there with Krishna. So the very first step in really involving the heart when we chant is that we actually mindfully turn to Krishna deeply in the heart and feelingly appeal to him. Krishna, I know you're there. Please accept me. Please, I need you, longing for the relationship. Only when we chant like this, it will actually do something for our relationship with Krishna. You know? Yes. I mean, usually I like to do a japa exercise, but I'm not sure. Maybe the crowd is a bit too big or something. Or Prabhu, what do you think? Huh? We can? Yes, people will not get up and walk out or something. Yeah, because I mean, when we practically apply it, we do it, then we realize that it is not easy, you know? Yes. And we realize how much we have ignored Krishna in our chanting, you know. All right, so if you give the go-ahead, Prabhu, I was a little intimidated with a big group and I wasn't sure. But yeah, let's try this. Even if you did not bring your rounds, no need to jump up and run to your car or something. So you can just count on your fingers, or you can just chant without counting. No problem, you know? So let us chant one round. Everybody in their own speed and rhythm. And we want to try that, to really mindfully turn to Krishna, calling out feelingly, longing for the relationship. Krishna, please accept me. I need you. Right? And some people like to close their eyes, then we can concentrate more on the sound and the eyes are not distracting us. So this may be helpful. But I have to warn you, I'm a pretty slow chanter. I need 10 minutes for one round. So you may finish your round before I do, but I hope you will give me enough time that I can also finish my round. Okay, so let's try. Okay? So how did you go? Did you think it was easy? No? Was it easy? No. I'm glad you say no. If you would say yes, I would say, well, what are you doing in the material world then, you know? Then you shouldn't even be here if it's so easy, you know? No, it's not easy at all, right? Yes. This just shows how easily we can cut Krishna out of the picture, actually, you know? Our so-called Krishna consciousness, we can completely ignore Krishna. We can keep ourselves so busy running all different services, projects, ambitions, and running. But hey, what are we doing for our relationship with Krishna? Are we doing anything for that? So that's when we do something for the relationship, when we chant. But only if we turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him. Only that kind of chanting develops the relationship. I'm sure you all have heard of His Holiness Satchinandan Swami, right? He came up with a pretty good analogy. He calls this chanting, where we don't turn to Krishna and feelingly call out to him, he calls this empty medicine capsule. Yes. Empty capsule, not tablet, but capsule. Vegetarian capsule, of course. So we can open up the capsule, and usually there should be some medicine inside, but there's also empty capsules available. You know, no medicine inside, therefore no effect. Even though from outside it looks like the real thing. Right? Yes. Empty capsule. So this exercise we just did, for some devotees, this is a big eye-opener. And they realize, oh my God, I've been taking empty capsules. You know? Yes, yes. Very often we don't even hear about these things. We only put so much emphasis on the numbers, how many rounds we chant. But nobody asks, oh, empty capsules, full capsules, what capsules are you taking? You know, nobody asks that. And I mean, I have to share from my own life, probably the first 20 years of my devotional life, I took empty capsules, because nobody ever explained these things to me. I didn't hear about these things, Yes. So, this exercise has the power to transform our mechanical routine chanting into my time with Krishna, right? And when we find it here, that even here, sitting here, hearing about the holy name, if we find it difficult here to mindfully turn to Krishna, what to speak of, going shopping on the market, doing all these other things while we chant. Empty capsule guaranteed. Guaranteed. Right? Yes. Yes. So we have to put an end to these empty capsules. Yes. And so it's hard work, internal hard work. And we can imagine if we endeavor, even if we are not fully successful, but just if we make this endeavor every day for 2.5 hours, whatever it takes to chant our rounds, to really mindfully turn to Krishna, feelingly call out to Him, surely something will develop in our relationship with Krishna. It will become tangible reality, right? Yes, definitely. Because Krishna is a person. He sees we are struggling, we are endeavoring. He is saying, oh, finally, he or she is turning towards me and calling upon me, appealing, Yes. So in Krishna will reciprocate. He will show himself more to us, And in Kirtan, same thing is there, In Kirtan also, we have to be attentive on these 3 levels. On the level of the body, not being there with our mobile or talking to our neighbor and all these kind of things. On the level of the mind, stop wandering, and making plans and all that. And involving the heart, feelingly call out to Krishna. Yes. Actually, I had very distinctly this realization when His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj had his first health crisis. When was it? 2004, 8, 5? I can't remember. But I was at that time in Bangladesh. And most of the devotees in Bangladesh are his disciples. So when the news came out that Maharaj was in coma, the whole Bangladesh, ISKCON Bangladesh was mortified. And we immediately started 24-hour kirtans in all the temples. And these kirtans were the best kirtans I've ever attended. Because they were chanted in this mood of helplessly crying out. Yeah. And sometimes the kirtan leaders, they were actually crying while they were singing. So in desperation and helplessness. When your guru is in coma and you chant in kirtan, you don't feel like showing off. Right? Wrong situation for showing off. Yes. So these kirtans were really amazing kirtans. And that's when I realized, yes, that's what kirtan is meant to be chanted like. And then it was interesting to observe that as Maharaj's health got more stable, people were relaxing. And they were thinking, okay, looks like it's not so bad, Maharaj will stay for longer. And then the kirtan was going back to the usual mood. And a good portion of showing off was entering. Yes. Can you still hear me? Even though this rain is quite causing some competition here. Yes. So anyway, poisonous, empty capsule. There is also a poisonous capsule available. So what's the poisonous capsule? The empty capsule easily fills with poison. So in kirtan it becomes more obvious. Using the holy name to show off. That's the poisonous capsule. Because the empty capsule does not bring deep satisfaction to the soul, to the heart. So then we think, where is the bliss? Where is the nectar? All right, let's show off. And maybe let's enjoy that nectar of showing off. Right? So that's how the empty capsule fills with poison. Showing off. And it can also be there in japa too. Like tomorrow we have Ekadashi. Okay, I'm chanting 64 rounds and I'm posting a picture of me chanting 64 rounds on Facebook. That's me chanting. And I have the chatter like this and the Radha Kuntilak and wow, So that's the poisonous capsule in chanting. Yeah, in the holy name retreats we usually do role plays. Demonstrating empty capsule, poisonous capsule, and it deepens the learning experience. Yeah, so let us be mindful that we don't want to take empty capsules, because these empty capsules really, they do not develop our relationship with the holy name and with Krishna. But at death, we are tested. Which relationship is the most important one for us? Yes, that's why Krishna says, Antakale chamamevasman mukta kalevan. So if you remember me alone, Krishna alone we have to remember. Not Krishna and my husband, my wife, my child, granddaughter, cat, dog, whatever people may have, So, but it's Krishna alone. And that is not so easy. Yeah, so that's what death is all about. We are tested which relationship is most important for us. And if there's any relationship more important than our relationship with Krishna, we have to come back and finish this more important business. Yeah. So the main and foremost way to prepare for this final exam of death is the chanting. But only when we mindfully turn to Krishna, then it will establish our relationship. Then we have some hope that we will remember Krishna alone. Yes. All right, so 8 o'clock, my time is up here. So I will, with your permission, I do want to quickly show you these books I've published, because I feel a great urgency to get these topics out. What's happening here, Lord Indra? Huh? Yes, I mean, it's enough. Enough. Yes, so, okay. Thank you, Indra. So you have heard, I have established an institute for spiritual culture. And actually, I'm based in Mayapur. I spend 3 months per year in Mayapur. I teach all different courses there. And now I'm putting the courses in book form so that the knowledge can reach more people. So each book is a 15-hour course. So you get quite a bit of education here. Very helpful for preachers. All you have to do is read 1 or 2 chapters, take a few notes. You've got all Prabhupada's quotes there. Ready as your seminar. Yeah. So, spiritual culture, Krishna's divine system. This is all about the man, woman, nature's qualities, that they're not the same. Man, woman are not equal. The equality is on the level of the soul, but on the level of the body. We are just so different because we are meant to play different roles, right? And we women have a very powerful energy. Feminine Shakti, very powerful. Bhagavatam tells us we should use this feminine Shakti to empower the men and not to compete with them. I'm sure the men like to hear that, right? They usually don't like it when we women compete. Yes, yes. Maybe you ladies have noticed that they don't like that, right? Yes. So the man-woman equality now very easily leads to this, that the women compete. And that actually weakens the men. It makes them weak. Because they need that feminine energy to be empowered and motivated. So it's very fascinating to discover all these deeper aspects of Krishna's divine system. Yeah. So any woman who wants to have harmonious relationships with men in her life, please check out this book. You will find interesting things there. It's also very helpful for raising girls, very helpful for teenage girls. They should read this. And every man who wants to get the empowerment of the women, they should also read this book. And every man who wants to preach about this topic. Yes, this book is used as a handbook for brahmachari training in many temples. Because they also have to understand that this man-woman equality, it's nonsense. It puts the whole human society upside down. See, and this can only come from a woman's mouth. Especially from a German woman's mouth. If an Indian woman says this, well, she's Indian. If a man says this, oh my God, this is anti-woman preaching, you know. But if a woman says this, I mean, in America, I cannot even talk about this. You know, I don't touch that topic, but I have the book there, you know. But people get so agitated when they hear man, woman are not equal. I hope you're not broadcasting that there to your friends in US and they put it on Facebook or something. Then they will not receive me there anymore. Yeah, so it's interesting reading. Sheltering relationships. This is all about the importance of having a counselor. Somebody where we can open our heart and share our innermost struggles and fears. So when you read this book, you will be clear that without having a counselor and eventually becoming one to others, we actually cannot make advancement. And there's so many other topics. The topic of envy, how envy manifests, the culture of correcting others, culture of respect. So many important topics, all related with practical application, how we apply, how we live this Krishna consciousness. Then we have the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. I think the title speaks for itself. False ego, very subtle. We can easily miss it. And in the name of Krishna consciousness, we can feed and boost the false ego and massage each other's false egos. Oh, it's all happening. Instead of dissolving it, we enlarge it and feed it. So there's many practical things, like when we get offended, how often does that happen? So it's the false ego crying for justice. And here is a whole chapter on chanting the holy name. So here you will find empty capsule, poisonous capsule, everything and much more than what we talked is in here. Because the chanting is so important for dissolving the false ego. But we have to chant in the right mood. Then we have entering the Grihastha ashram. How to do it, how better not to do it. Yeah, here in India, we need a bit of help with our matchmaking. People only look at caste and money, and they don't look at all the other devotional levels of compatibility. And on my travels all around the world, I meet so many unhappy, mismatched couples from Indian families. Because also the parents don't give the boy and the girl a chance to talk about things. You know? They only meet once for half an hour at a temple program and that's it. Yes. I mean, even when you buy a computer, you spend more time, you know, checking out this one, that one, looking what can this one do and what's important for me and. So what to speak of a lifetime decision as getting married. So in this book, you will find a list of over 200 topics which should be discussed. Yes, yes. The boy and the girl should talk in the presence of the parents, matchmaker, counselor, whatever. Yes, so many important things to talk about, to see, are we on the same page? Do we have a similar mood and goals in life and standards we want to follow and all that, right? And this list I'm including here. This is not my list. It's not a German list. It actually comes from Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, which has a huge Indian congregation. So it's for Indian people. Yes. And these topics should be discussed with a cool head, without pink glasses on. The pink glasses of being in love, then you can't see. That's why I made the book pink. Yes. So, I mean, yeah, we need some help with our matchmaking. I mean, the divorce rate is really increasing in India. Just 2 days ago, I was doing a program, BCEC, one council group, and then the counselor told me, yes, In the last 6 months, we had 2 young couples divorcing after 6 months of marriage, you know, because they didn't talk. And then once they talked, they realized, hey, you know, no chance. We can't connect. We are not on the same page. So and then they get divorced. I mean, my God, you know. And I mean, I meet so many girls who are terrified of getting married because they see how it's done, you know. So times have changed, you know. In former times, people knew the art, how to match people up, they knew. But today, people have lost that knowledge. And all they look is caste and money. Yes. And also in former times, people were sticking with the arrangement, even if it was hell from day one, you know. They were sticking with it. But now times have changed and people get divorced. And one reason is bad matchmaking. Yeah. So please, let us get a little bit more educated. So this is an important book for people who are not married yet, for the parents, for the matchmakers, the counselors, you know, just to refine our matchmaking. Yeah. And last but not least, family life as an ashram, secrets of success. Because many people's family life, is not so much a suitable place for cultivating bhakti. So here we learn how to actually create this culture of bhakti in our home. And there's so many things there, so many interesting practical topics. For the wife, she has to learn the art of making her idea his idea. Then we are more successful, making him accept our idea. When we learn the art to make it his idea. All interesting secrets there. And there's also a whole chapter on physical intimacy in marriage. How to live this principle of no illicit sex life in marriage. There's a bit of confusion over this. And it's a big taboo here in India. Nobody's talking about it. And people can't work out how to make things work, you know. So I did some research. And I came across interesting episodes and instructions from Prabhupada, which hardly anybody has heard. And people say, what, really? Prabhupada said that? Wow, okay. You know, so that adds a whole different perspective to the whole topic. Yeah. So I simply hope this book will make our married life more Krishna conscious and at the same time emotionally balanced and harmonious. So now, if anybody wants to get some books, as you have heard, I already sold all the books I had, but what I do is I take orders. So these last 3 books, they are 350 rupees each, and the first 2 are 300 each. So many people, they were getting the whole set, because they're all good topics. Even if you don't want to all use them for yourself, you can give away 1 or 2 to your grown-up children or whatever, and you keep the others for yourself, whatever. So, so I have a list where we write down the name, phone number, we tick which books you want, and then I will get some more books sent from Mayapur. So I will need a little bit of help. I will need a QR code, because I have a QR code, but my bank is always blocking my account. I have to open up a current account, saving account. I cannot accept so many payments. So yeah, a QR code, and then maybe somebody can help me. I usually keep track of all the payments going in, so and then we can see that we received them all and so on. You know, so I need a couple of people here on the table, so we can just, yeah, we can set up here if you like, and anybody who wants to get some books, please come. Or some of you, if you want to first go to Prasadam and come back afterwards, that's also fine. You know, because if many of you want books, then maybe there will be some waiting and all that. You know, so yeah. And then we'll see how we go. Okay? So yeah.
Add to your comments.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So around 2 months ago, or maybe around 3 months ago, we had done a seminar on relationship management. So I had largely quoted Mother's book as I was making that presentation. We had covered 5 topics. And the very first topic was from spiritual culture. And you will remember one of the topics was from the 3rd chapter of this book, talking about the material hierarchy and the spiritual hierarchy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was from the spiritual culture book. And then later on, we talked about the need for accountability, how to have relationships. And that was from sheltering relationship. And we concluded with the topic of envy. That was all from this book. Okay. And the 3rd book is false ego, which I thought we have discussed a lot now. For that time, we should put it on pause because we have already covered 5 topics. And those 5 topics were from a couple of chapters from this book. It's not that I have covered it all. There was a few of the things. But at my end, I have personally read the first 3 books because when I got it last time, 2 or 3 years ago back in Mayapur, the other 2 books were not there and they were not necessarily for me as such. But the first 3 books are a generic book which I would recommend everyone, particularly the spiritual culture, which talks about man, woman, the spiritual and material hierarchy and etc. And sheltering relationship is all about having a wonderful relationship with each other, how to overcome envy, how to have accountability, as Mother was saying, to become a counselor and also to be accountable to somebody to really make progress. So these are really, really helpful books. These are the topics which are not often discussed in our society at large in general. But it is the way Mother have written is very straightforward, simple, with a lot of Prabhupada quotations and references. And I'm pretty sure it's going to help a lot. Those who are running a family time program, those are already in the role of a mentor, Grihastha mentors, I would recommend definitely consider the other 2 books about the married life, because those are the cases which in any community will definitely come across. And these books act as a quick reference and the guidebooks, where you can go through any chapter in case if you have any query and find an answer. That will be my humble request. Do consider getting a copy for yourself. And Gaudam Prabhu is standing here. So, sitting here, stand up now. So that was an indication. So he's standing here now. So he would be noting down. So the way Mother suggested is all of you can come up. And they do have already paper over here. So you have to give your name and phone number. And otherwise, I'll request Mother just to show the names of the book once again.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Mother will also be there?
I can advise you also.
And how you have planning to use a QR code, which means they make the payment right now.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
So they make the payment right now.
Do we have somebody's QR code we can use?
No, this is going to go to the ISKCON account. No, don't bring it.
See, if you want to use an ISKCON account, I can also give you an invoice.
Okay, then it's okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
And then your bookkeeping doesn't get messed up.
Yeah,
so
because
just over
ISKCON account would not have a limit. Otherwise, a personal account get generally issued the block
that's
limit.
the thing.
Correct.
So
usually
I just give you a fictive invoice, just the total and so many books.
So one of you be in that contact with Mother for that. And once again, I'll just read out the title, or maybe Mother can read out the title, so you all are familiar what are the books.
Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System, then Sheltering Relationships, then False ego, our constant companion and troublemaker.
So all these 3 titles are for all of us, regardless of which ashram we are.
Yes.
Other 2 titles are for
Yes.
specific ashram.
Yes, that's the handbook for matchmaking, and that's the Grihastha book. And I can already announce what the next book will be.
Okay.
I hope I get it printed for the ILS, but I'm not sure. Vanaprastha Ashram.
Oh.
It's the Vanaprastha Ashram, Meeting Death with Joy. That's the subtitle. You know, nobody talks about it.
Absolutely.
Vanaprastha Ashram not established. So, Prabhu, then you can train them all to prepare them for Vanaprastha Ashram. You know?
So with this, we'll also like to thank Madhu. I really wanted to host her here for a couple of days, but because we have a temporary setup right now, so Krishna willing, she's coming here probably for the first time.
Yes.
I remember last time I met her in ILS, so we were talking and I said, it'll be nice for you to visit, but just because of COVID and many things going back and forth. So fortunately, this time it worked out. So this time we are having one program. Hopefully by next visit, our land thing is final, then we'll have a permanent place. So we can have her stay here with us for a few days. One topic which I really wanted her to speak was on the false ego. But nonetheless, of course, chanting is also important, so we can cover many topics like this next time. So let's thank Mother for her time, for sharing her wisdom. Many of us may not have the time and bandwidth available to go through those seminars, so it's really kind of her to put those her wisdom nuggets in the form of a book, because going through the book is far much easier for some of us whose schedules are pretty hectic now, rather than taking out a time to go and attend a 15-hour seminar. So sincere thanks to the Mother for this initiative. And let's thank Mother by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As Mother.
Yeah. But let me first also thank you, and especially you, Prabhu, for allowing me to come. And it's such a pleasure and joy for me to hear that you're using these books to train the devotees. I mean, my God, this is really... Yeah, no, this is such a big pleasure and honor for me when I see that actually people take these topics seriously and they're teaching them and so on. So this is really very, very nice. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.